Welcome to O People of the Book YouTube channel.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
O People of the Book YouTube channel.
نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And once again, let me just double check if I'm going out or not, instead of me just rabbiting on and then I'm not going out. Let's just wait a minute and see. Yeah, okay, this is going out. We'll check the mic in a minute. And okay, so far so good. But anyway, I hope everybody's okay. And again, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. Welcome to our usual Saturday show, and from monogamy to polygamy. We do have a quite fun-packed program today. I've got some resources that I'm sure you'll be interested in, and those of you who are watching, I'm broadcasting from O People of the Book, and also I'm broadcasting from Consider This TV, our platform, our bigger platform that we actually share and that we broadcast from. So at the same time, when you go in there, you subscribe, like, and share all the channels. Plus, my channel itself, my personal channel, O People of the Book. Go there and subscribe, like, and share. And please share the information on this channel with the people who are seeking about polygyny. At the moment, we have a crisis. We have a crisis where there's a lot of sisters who are not married, a lot of his sisters divorced. Marriages are breaking up, and there's what's the name? A lot of what do you call it as well? Widows as well. So, what do we do? You see, so we have to find a solution for it, and this is my part, playing my part to try and offer you a solution to this problem. Anyway, so many of you might not like the things that I'm saying. Many of you, I had an argument with a couple of ladies in a group yesterday. In one of the groups, where one sister mentioned that she needs to get married or whatever. And it came to the conversation of if you want to get married, then you have to relinquish the child, which is part of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see, if you don't want to get married, if a sister doesn't want to get married, let me make this clear for the sisters who maybe you are watching and didn't understand the conversation that went on yesterday. If a sister does not want to get married again, she does not want to get remarried again, then there's no obligation on her to relinquish the child to her husband or to her to parents or whatever. But once she's made that decision that she wants to get remarried again, then she has to relinquish the child. Now, there was a big, argument about this. Sisters take it as like, something emotional, affectionate. Of course, I agree because, like, they are mothers, and like, not a lot of people who would understand that. But also, not every guy would accept to raise somebody else's child. You see, if the guy agrees, then fine, no problem, But apart from that, the hadith makes it clear that if a woman decides to get remarried, then obviously she will have to relinquish the child. There is no age group mentioned in there. There's no, like, when he becomes 7, he or she chooses or whatever. That's a different thing altogether now. We discussed that yesterday, and I got told that I got called aside in DM, and I was told that I was a bit harsh. No, I wasn't harsh. I was just reminding the fact that, like, there are two different things here. Yeah, if a woman doesn't want to get married again, and then the child has got a choice. The child reaches a certain age, and the child says, "Okay, I want to go to daddy," or I want to stay with mommy, and they have custody or whatever, and visitations and stuff like that. But once a woman decides that she wants to remarry, that's a different ball game altogether. Okay, it's a different ball game altogether. The age doesn't come into this now. The child, we don't have to wait for the child to become 7 to decide. This is all in the books of fiqh of marriage, and those maybe the sisters who are a bit angry haven't studied the fiqh of marriage, which I have, and they kind of like took it more emotional, more personal, or whatever. It was nothing emotional, nothing personal. I was just trying to share my knowledge with the sisters. My beard is getting white, and I thought something was on my beard actually. Yeah, well, anyway, so I wanted to get that out of the way. I want to get that out of the way. Now, the other thing is the brother whose channel I've been broadcasting a couple of weeks back, Coach Nadir. They have a book that they've released called "Let's Talk Polygyny." Let me share my window, share screen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this one here. Okay, I bought it from on Kindle because I like to read online. I get bored when I pick up a book, and then I go through it, and I get bored easily. So it's a very interesting book, and if I'd advise you, if you want to learn more about polygyny, then go ahead and get the book. We'll go through it. We'll go through it a little bit to understand the mindset. It's $9.99 on Kindle, and I think the price is 29 something on as a book, or 39. I can't remember, but like I said, I like to read online, either PDF or Kindle. So I got this on Kindle. For those of you who are interested, it's an interesting book, and we'll just have a go. We'll have a look through it and see. Anyway, so yeah, let's start. Let's start with this, and then I've got another resource for you as well. What the ulama say about what's the name? There's a lecture that we'll go through. We'll just quickly go through this now and see. Okay, let's talk polygamy. Well, the brother mentions that the term polygamy is used. He doesn't like the term polygamy neither. He prefers polygyny, because polygyny describes the man taking another wife, whereas polygamy is broad. Polygamy can contain polyandry, can contain other polys as well. But the book is written by him and his 2 wives. Yeah, let's talk polygamy. uncensored, modern day solutions find in an ancient marital practice. Now, again, I keep mentioning this, that a lot of people think that polygyny came from Islam. Islam came and brought polygyny or whatever. No, this is a very ancient practice, although some of the Christians who don't understand their religion, they will think that the Bible forbids it or whatever, where when it doesn't. Okay, so anyway, so by Coach Nadir, by his wife Coach Fatima, and his other wife Coach Naila. Yeah, alhamdulillah, they're doing some very good work. So go to their YouTube channel, and outstanding outstanding personal relationships, and give them a subscribe there. They do some very good work. Anyway, if we go, we have a look quickly at the titles. You see some very interesting things that they cover. 1 second, I think I turned off the air conditioner. Yeah, okay. So they cover some very interesting things in there, which I'm sure you will benefit from as well. They are people of experience who are living polygyny, so they know what they're talking about. Okay. Anyway, we'll just quickly go through what's her name? We'll just quickly go through what is written in here. Okay, who is this book for? This book is designed for anyone interested in exploring polygyny as a marital choice, whether you're just curious or deeply committed to this lifestyle. It's particularly aimed at those questioning the modern narrative of monogamy. This book is for you if you're curious or committed to polygyny, or and you're questioning modern day views of monogamy. You will be surprised. I just have learned something earlier on. I was talking to a friend of mine a few days ago. I had read on the newspaper that, not on the newspaper, on the internet, but on some news, what's written, that Tunisia, the women of Tunisia are pushing to bring back polygyny. Why? Because there's more men than women. Okay. Now that friend of mine said to me, it's likely that it's not going to pass. The bill is not going to pass, but it's there. It's there. The bill is there, and so people are wanting to come back more to polygyny. Okay, and in the previous lessons, I kind of mentioned about countries like Russia and the Eastern Bloc or whatever. They're wanting more to bring back polygyny. Now, somebody mentioned something on TikTok today. I don't know whether it's true. If it's true, alhamdulillah, but Pakistan. She mentioned that Pakistan is trying to reinstate polygyny because they're finding that they have more women than men, and a lot of women are in extreme poverty, and which is true. A lot of women are in extreme poverty. They're working, yet some of them are working and they still can't make ends meet, and some of them are not working. So for those of you now who are curious about or committed to polygyny, or you're questioning the modern views of monogamy, this book is for you. If you find yourself in either of these categories, you're in the right place. This book aims to challenge your preconceptions about marriage, its relevance in the world today. How not to use this book. So it gives us some advice here now. The don'ts. Before diving into how to make the most of this book, let's talk about what not to do. Imagine you've just read a chapter on effective communication in polygynous relationship. Using that to belittle your spouse in an argument is not the purpose of this book. Okay, so the brother and sisters there, they put a disclaimer there. This is not what the book was written for. Don't use it against your spouse. Okay, wisdom, words of wisdom. Don't weaponize the knowledge you gain, and respect that everyone's journey is unique. This is one thing that people have to bear in mind when people come into groups and everything, like about polygyny, and they want to push their ideology. I don't like it, or this or that. This is wrong. No, remember that everybody's journey is unique. Okay, some people might have some bad experiences or whatever, but uh it's still their journey. Oh, I forgot to check something. I forgot to go back and check if I am actually going out or not, because earlier on it was the sound was only on the. Yeah. Okay. Khalas. So I'm definitely going out, so got no worries for that. Anyway, so let's get back to it. Yeah. So we have to respect. We have to respect them. The people's experiences. Some people might have had bad experiences, and some people might. Most of the people that I know, one sheikh mentioned. You will hear earlier. You will hear later on when I play the lecture that we're going to listen. Most of the problems happen in monogamous marriages. When you see all the divorce that is happening today, there's not polygamy that's causing the divorce. 90% of marriages today, will say, no, maybe no, well, yeah, 80-90% of marriages today are ending up in divorce, whether further along the line or within a year or two. Whenever I'm speaking to sisters, we're finding, sisters been married 1 year and husband is abusive, or been married 2 years, husband left and left the children, or it it doesn't have to happen straight away. It could be 20 years down the line, 15 years down the line, and stuff like that. So some people have had good experiences and some people haven't. So they shouldn't come now and try and push their ideology that polygyny is not right or whatever, and this and that and the other. Okay. So right, so what is this book for? Who is this book for? Imagine you've just read the chapter on. We've done that. Okay, the insights we share in this book are the results of years of experience and growth. They're meant to enlighten, not to be used as an ammunition. Okay, so the brother mentions this here. If you find yourself in either of these categories. No, no, I've read that. Oh, it's this one. Okay. Okay, how to use this book, the do's. The best way to use this book is a guide to broaden your understanding of polygyny. If you are facing a challenge in your polygynous relationship, refer to the relevant sections of this book for advice and perspective. Words of wisdom. Use this book as a guide for understanding polygyny. Keep an open mind. You may agree or disagree, and that's okay. Yeah, a lot of things that I read, the people write and everything, I don't have to agree with everything they say, and I don't have to disagree with everything they say, unless if it's qala Allah qala Rasul, then I have no right to disagree with the words of Allah and the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah. But if it's somebody's mentioning something and that's his experience or whatever, I have the right to disagree with him or agree with him. We'll share stories, tactics, and perspectives aimed at providing you with a well-rounded view of lifestyle and benefits and challenges. All we ask that you withhold judgment until you've either put our advice into practice or have found healthier, more effective alternatives. Deal? Brother asks that question. Okay, so now we'll just go back to. Oops. Um, because it's Kindle. Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. So then They give their link and everything with them. You can reach us through our website, outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. Like I said, you'll find them on YouTube. Go there and give them a like, give them a shout out, give them a subscribe, and share their content, because they have some very good content. Yeah, alhamdulillah, I've been learning from them, and that we all learn from one another. Nobody knows too much. Okay, so part one, it says, let's talk polygamy with Sheikh Nadir. So he explains now how he got to know polygamy. Okay. Okay. In 1990, okay, he says, my journey to understanding polygyny. Okay, see now he's made it clear. It's not polygamy, it's polygyny. Okay. But again, a lot of books have been written on this, and the term polygamy has been used, okay, in broad. But we know that we're talking about polygyny. The book that started it all. In 1995, I took my first steps into married life, and a new religion. The same one Malcolm X embraced 11 months before his untimely death. Eager to learn, I found myself at Ikra bookstores at Devon Avenue in Chicago. Among the shelves filled with books on history, Arabic, and marriage, one caught my eye. Polygamy in Islam. Now, there are several books with that title. We don't know which one he's talking about. He doesn't mention the author. But if you go back to my playlist, you will see that I did a book called Polygamy in Islam by my teacher, Dr. Bilal Phillips. Yeah, and Dr. Bilal and Jamila Jones. I went through that. I done a series of that as well. So if you want to learn from that as well, you can go back and check it. Yeah. So he mentions polygamy in Islam, but he doesn't say from who. I know there is Jamal Badawi who wrote a book on the same title, and a couple more people who wrote the book with the same title. Imagine being newlywed and stumbling upon a book that could potentially change your entire perspective on marriage. That was me. It was with Coach Fatima. I was with Coach Fatima at the time, and we were both new to this journey. While I was engrossed in this book, she was elsewhere in the store, curating our future Islamic library. I was so intrigued by the book that I decided to make it a must-buy, despite my initial belief that polygamy was a practice of ancient times. Okay, so obviously he was a new Muslim, and he'd just come into the deen, and his understanding was that it was a practice of ancient times. So anyway, this is what he talks about. Then he goes to the learning curve from theory to reality. I'm going to read a little bit for you, and then I'll leave you to go out and get the book, and you can enjoy it yourself. I'm not going to read the whole book for you here, because that's not the purpose of the what's the name. Just to let you know that I bought the book, and you can benefit from it as well. Yeah. After purchasing the book and discreetly placing it at the bottom of our shopping bag, I devoured its contents in only a couple of hours. However, it was more academic read and lacked the practical advice needed for navigating the complexities of a polygynous relationship. Reading about polygamy in religious texts is one thing. Living it is another. The book was the information, but didn't cover any of the day-to-day challenges. So I'm going to leave it here, okay? Because then he goes into chapter 1. He goes into there was a TV series which was called what was it called? Three's Company. Yeah, he talks about Three's Company, how on TV there was a program where one man is living in a house with two women. Okay, he's sharing a house. He's got two roommates, but it doesn't go as far as making it polygyny. He's just living in the same house as them. He's a womanizer as well. He loves women as well, but the series does not go as far as pushing polygyny. So they've got their barriers on where they can where they stop. Yeah, it's an interesting book because I read them quite a bit earlier on. I need to carry on reading it, but I'll leave it to there. Yeah, I'll leave it to there. Let me yeah. So there. Okay, and then so he says, let me just finish this because I mentioned this to you. Yeah, a cautionary tale: don't use this book as an ammunition. A friend once told me an argument he had with his wife over polygyny. In the heat of the moment, he used my situation to challenge her views, which didn't end well. Imagine being used as an example in someone else's marital discourse. Not a good look for anyone involved. This book is not intended as a tool to win arguments, but as a means of knowledge to improve communication and deepen understanding. Anyway, so I'm not going to go that deep into it. Let you read it. But I mean, you. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, and concerning polygyny, and people who've got the experience, people who are actually okay, I think I've stop sharing now. Okay, so now I'd like to remind you once again that you're watching O People of the Book, and our Saturday polygyny, monogamy to polygyny. And okay, now we're going to move on to another resource. There is a lecture that was done by Sheikh Khalid Yassin. For those of you who know him, or those of you who don't know him, but he done a very good lecture. Most of the things that he mentions in the lecture, I've already gone through it, or I've mentioned it to you, or you've heard it from me, or I've read it from books or whatever. But then this is coming from the mouth of the Sheikh now. Okay, so in case you might think, oh, Brother Jamal is making this up or whatever, and that's not what it is or whatever. So we'll go through this very interesting lecture, and we'll go through this, and then we'll what's the name? We'll discuss on it. Okay, so full screen, and then okay. I hope you can hear the sound.
I don't care what you provide him with, how beautiful that you are, and what treasure you think you represent. Too many fish in the sea. If you want to know, let me give you the statistics, sisters. This is another subject I'm going to talk to you about later on, but let me just tell you. Already in the Western world, there is 2.5 women to every man.
Okay, listen to this carefully. Listen to these statistics carefully. I have mentioned it in the past, but listen to the statistics carefully and do the maths. For me to keep telling the sisters, they're out there that and telling the brothers out there to marry the widows and marry the divorcees or whatever, and sisters as well, not to make difficult for marriage. He's going to give some figures there. Just do the maths, and you'll be able to understand what crisis we are in at the moment.
Just add with me. If you take away the men who are homosexuals, now you come to what? 3.5, right? No, this is the truth. Then if you take the men who want to be playboys, they don't want to get married, now it's what? 4.5.
Okay, there's a lot of these playboys around. They're the ones who are out there being baby daddies, and a lot of sisters. This seems not a lot of sisters. When I say a lot of sisters, I don't mean only Muslim sisters. I mean ladies in general who love the bad guys, give him their wounds and everything, and their wombs and everything, and these guys are not interested in getting married. So you take them out of the equation as well. These are the bad guys who like going around and getting women pregnant, and sleeping with women or whatever. So you discount them as well as good men for marriage. Okay,
isn't it? Then you take the men who are on drugs and alcohol. What do you get? 5.5. Because now we're talking about 2.5 women to every male, not men, male. So we're at 2.5. We're at 5.5 now. What about the men who's in the jail? They will not come out.
Okay. One thing I like to mention there, he mentioned not men but male. When you talk of male, you might you might find a child in a man's body. He may be grown up and look like a man, big big body and everything, but his mind is like a child and he's not ready for marriage. His mother's been looking after him, giving him everything, and he's not ready for marriage. So that as well, you have to discount them in there and take that out of the equation.
Out 10, 15 years. Now you got what? 6.5. What about the men who's at war? Maybe they will not come back. Where we at now? We're
Exactly. Now, you remember I mentioned this before. You remember at the time of the Ukraine war, yeah? It showed it publicly on TV. The soldiers who were going, they were putting their families in trains, wives, children, or whatever, and sending them off, not knowing that they will see them again. Okay, so these women end up becoming widows now. Okay, so who's going to look after them? What we're going to do for them? Okay, so he mentions that clearly as well, wars and stuff like that. So all that in the equation. Do your maths now, yeah?
at 7.5. What about the men who is confused? They don't know whether they want to be a male or female.
Exactly. We have a lot of this today. We have a lot of it today that, men don't know who they are. Men have been emasculated by foods, by the lifestyle. If you look at this couple who they've been talking about them a lot recently. I don't know those of you who know them or who don't know them. Khalid and Salama. They were influencers on TikTok, not on TikTok, sorry, on Instagram and everything, and everybody was taking them as the couple to follow. Yet, if you look at it carefully, Khalid was being emasculated, and Salama was being the boss lady. She was the one who was giving the orders, basically. And if you look at some of them, you see him a softy or whatever. And this is how men have become. And what has happened to them? They got divorced in the end. That's a different issue anyway. I just wanted to raise that. But he mentions this in passing the same situation where these men are not men anymore. Today you find that men are not men. Well, not all men. I mean, I don't mean all men. I mean, you find a lot of men today who, have been emasculated.
They don't know what they want to be. They're just floating around. Now you're at 8.5. What about the derelict men? They're bums. They're irresponsible. They're living and eating off their mother. They're 30 years old.
Exactly. This is another one. I keep telling a lot of sisters, although sometimes I'm a bit harsh with them when I do say it, but you do find some sisters who will give their womb to bums, to losers. Okay, they will give their what's the name, their greatest treasure. Okay, to bums and losers. And then what happens? The older man has to come around and then pick up the pieces after that. It's only after that they will realize that, we want an older man, because the young men that they chose were losers, were bums. And the Sheikh is saying it himself.
What about them? Now you're at 9.5. So if all the women was able to marry a man for themselves, what will happen to all the other sisters? A man, we said. Who is a man? A man who is responsible. A man who can fulfill what she needs physically and mentally, psychologically, and economically. If all the women got a husband, what will all the other sisters do? Will they become lesbians? Or they become old maids all their life, rest of their life? No, there's a hikmah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will talk about that hikmah. Sisters, be aware of deviation. Be aware of chauvinism. Be aware of personal interests. Be aware of rebellion. And on this issue of rebellion, sisters, let me say this to you. And let me be straightforward. And I hope that I don't become unpopular to you because of saying this to you. The sister who speaks against ta'addud zawjat. The sister who speaks against plural marriage. She says to people, I don't like it. It's not right. That part of Islam, I don't understand it, and it ain't for me. My husband better not. If he does, I will blah, 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 blah.
Okay, I think we went through this a couple of weeks ago, where I actually brought the words from, was it Sheikh Jabri or was it Sheikh Uthaymeen, who mentioned that if a woman does this, the fact that, you know, she's talking bad about the actual concept of polygyny itself, which was allowed by Allah, then she's going to get into kufr. If she knows that, yes, I'm weak, and, like, you know, I don't accept it because of my personal jealousy, then that's personal for between her. Then she just has to control her jealousy. But like the Sheikh is saying now, which I keep repeating every time, that you cannot dislike something that Allah has made halal. We even went through this the sessions where I gave some fiqh of marriage. I gave the fiqh of Islam where certain things were forbidden. Alcohol was forbidden. Mut'a was forbidden, but actual polygyny was permissible. Why? Why would Allah make it permissible if there was bad in it? That means those of you who are actually, like, you know, I'm not happy with the concept of polygyny, you're actually questioning Allah's wisdom.
And sister, don't take that from him. These brothers is all they think about all the time is blah, 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 blah. This is not right. The sister who's talking like that, she is causing fitna, and she is deviating and undermining the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And she is acting rebellious, and she's engaged in fisq. Now, I didn't say that the Muslim sister should not be jealous. She is right. Jealousy is a part of her nature. It's a part of her beauty. It's a part of her character.
Actually, will be if the book that's in front of me, from monogamy to polygamy. This week we're going to be delving into the subject dealing with jealousy. Okay, so the Sheikh is talking about jealousy, how she should act and everything. We did that in the past about the wives of the Prophet ﷺ and everything, how they dealt with jealousy. And the Sheikh is talking about it now. When we finish that, we'll be delving into how to control that jealousy.
But she have to keep it in check and keep it in balance. The wives of the Prophet ﷺ, they did not hold a party. They did not jump it down and clap when he took a wife. They did not. They didn't like it. And you know, in the Quran, we have an example where when he took a wife on one occasion, two of them did what? They played a trick or conspire. I think this wife he took, her name was Safiya. And so two of the wives of the Prophet ﷺ told her, I'm not sure if it was Safiya or another one. They said, when the Prophet ﷺ come to your house, say A'udhu Billah. So when the Prophet ﷺ came to her house, she said A'udhu Billah. So the Prophet ﷺ, he left. He left her house. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Actually, what it was, Aisha radiallahu anha and another one told them the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to tell him when he comes to you or you go to him, tell him A'udhu billah minnak. Yeah, I think the Sheikh didn't mention the full hadith, but I think I mentioned it in one of my shows a few weeks back. And you know, because of their jealousy, yeah, they didn't want him to marry that wife, and it wasn't the wife that the Prophet ﷺ was saying, because he actually married that one. It was another one, and they told her to say "A'udhu billah minna." Yeah, so how can you ask for protection from Allah from the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Yeah, but that was their plan, their ploy, you know, in order to stop the Prophet from
sent the ayah of Quran, O Prophet sallallahu. Do you turn away from that which Allah made lawful to you in order to please your wives? See how Allah sent the ayah. Do you turn away from that which Allah made lawful to you in order to please your wives? Now the Prophet, he understood something happened. Jibreel alayhi salam came and told him what happened. He's turning away from this sister in order to do what? To please his wives. He know that something happened. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala advised those women, if all of you give problem to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and back each other up to give him problems, maybe Allah will cause him to divorce all of you.
Right. It happened that time. It happened that time when the Prophet ﷺ actually divorced his wives, and they were given the choice. They were given the choice either they want to leave him or they want to come back to him, and they all chose to come back to him. Not for this reason. It was for a different reason. They were asking for too much or whatever, that the Prophet couldn't afford to give them or whatever, and he called Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhum, and the things were sorted. But the Sheikh is talking here about the ayah of Quran where Allah really reveals that ayah of Quran and everything. See, so this is what I've been trying to say from a long time, that the jealousy needs to be, checks and balances need to be put in place in order to control that jealousy. Okay, so we'll go back to it.
And do what? And give him better wives in place of you.
Okay.
So those women.
Okay, you see, the thing that the sister doesn't realize now, if she decides to cause problems, if she decides to make problems for her husband, men don't have difficulties finding women. Okay, don't have difficulties finding women. Women have difficulties finding good men. Yeah, that's a fact. You will find men left, right, and center, but like the brother mentioned, they're bums, they're losers, or whatever. But to find good men, it's difficult. Yeah. So if these women now are unhappy, they cause problems, they fight and everything, and they leave, the husbands can find another wife, straight away. He's got no iddah as well. He doesn't have to wait for 3 months or whatever. Straight away they go, you can take another one. Yeah, like what this guy has done now, Khalid al-Amri. He's actually now got engaged to a Hindu woman. He's left a Muslim sister and he's got engaged to a Hindu woman, which obviously is against the Quran. He shouldn't be doing that, But still, straight away he left her and he took another wife. So for the sisters who like to rebel, against ta'addud, well, you have to sit down and think that your husband can find another wife. So there and then,
When they feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they loved the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They had their jealousy, but they feared Allah. And so what did they do? They made tawbah and they reformed themselves. So jealousy is a part of the woman's nature. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the woman who is able to control her jealousy will receive the same reward as the man who controls his fear of jihad.
Okay, I keep mentioning this hadith. To show the sisters the reward that they are getting. All they're having to do is accept it, control their jealousy. That's all you are having to do. Allah is not asking you to take a sword and go in the battlefield or go and climb the biggest mountain or whatever, or no. Allah is just asking you something which is difficult for you. Yes, it is difficult for you. It is difficult for the women to control their jealousy, but Allah is asking you to do that, and you will get the reward of that. Much higher reward, the reward of the mujahid going into battle. Yeah, with a sword coming over his head, and you don't know whether he's going to die or whatever, or he's going to get killed or injured or whatever. That fear that he has in his heart, but he's still doing it to protect his wives, his whatever. He's still doing it. She gets that reward for it. I keep mentioning that, and here the Sheikh mentions that now.
It means that the woman that controls her jealousy regarding the issue of plural marriage, when her husband takes another wife, she's jealous, and she should be. But if she controls this, Allah will give her the same reward as the man that is able to go to jihad and control his fear. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed jealousy upon the women, and he has put jihad upon the men. So brothers, don't say to the sister, why are you jealous? What's your problem? What you think? She should not be jealous? She should be. It's her nature, but she needs to control that.
I think we done that a couple of weeks ago. There are two types of jealousy, from the man's side and the woman's side. So the sister has the right to be jealous. that is her right, just like the man has a right to be jealous of his wife, not dressing properly, his mother, his sister not dressing properly. That is a jealousy which is innate in him. Yeah, she has the right to be jealous, but she needs to control that jealousy. Don't let that jealousy make you do things and say things or whatever.
That. Because sisters, think to yourself, did Allah say, did the Prophet ﷺ say, none of you is truly believers until you love for your brother what you love for yourself? Did he say that?
I think I went through this hadith like a couple of weeks ago, last lesson or the lesson before. Yeah? لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. Okay, so none of you are proper believers until you want for your brother Muslim what you want for your what you want for yourselves, what you want for your brother Muslim, what you want for yourselves. Yeah, and he's gonna like what I did. I flipped it over and took the example of the sisters.
Did he say that? Yes, he said that. So let's switch it. Sisters, none of you truly believe until you love for your sister what you love for yourself. Now let's talk about that part. Let's go back to the issue, you understand me, of the 2.5 up to the 8.5. Let's go back to that. So if all the Muslim women in Sydney, Australia, let's not talk about the whole world. If all the Muslim sisters of Sydney, Australia, Allah blessed them to have a husband, how many sisters there will be without husbands? There will be at least, for every one sister that will find a nice husband, there will be at least another 6 sisters they will not have a husband. So sister, ask yourself, subhanallah, what you think about that Muslim sister? What should she be? She should be a lesbian? She should be by herself? She should not have children? She should not have her desires fulfilled? She should not have a home?
I keep emphasizing that as well. You see, he's gone through these things now, the things that we wouldn't want another sister to go through. Yeah, we shouldn't want another sister to go through. We shouldn't want another sister to have to go through. Recently, while I've been talking to sisters, while I've been doing some searches as well, I found out that there's a lot of sisters out there who are in extreme poverty. Yeah. And unfortunately, I was a bit harsh with one sister, calling her broke or whatever, and then stuff like that, because she kept asking men to pay her expenses and everything. But then I realized that there are sisters out there who need a man for whatever reason. You need a man, and so some sisters are just lonely. They're just lonely. They've been lonely for 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, doing whatever they need to do, and they're going around and they're seeing other people with husbands and wives together, going to the park, going to the beach together, and husband and wife together eating and obviously she would want that company, and she needs a man around her, because obviously a woman cannot do everything on her own. No matter what the feminist movement say. Yeah, last week I read that book that was written by that feminist woman, that we don't need men and stuff like that. They need us. No, sisters, they still need a man in their lives. And this is why when we got sisters who are divorcees, when we got sisters who are widows, we have to find a way to look after them. And that's why there has to be compromise, that sisters don't make it hard for the men, and the men as well, don't just go looking only for the sisters who are not married, the young sisters or whatever. Don't just go looking for them as well. Don't your first marriage was with a sister who's unmarried, with a virgin. Your second marriage would be with a virgin. Your third marriage would be with a virgin. No, the hadith of Rasulullah is misinterpreted. Misinterpreted. When we take it that way. Okay, you've got one virgin. You've married one virgin. Then there are sisters out there who need men. Like, I mean, I don't understand, how much. Maybe by the end of the show, when I've finished, then maybe some sisters would get the message. Maybe they're already getting the message now. I hope this is helping our brothers and sisters to understand the crisis that we're going through, and to make it easy for both sides. Make it easy for the men, and make it easy for the sisters. And men should stop uh, taking advantage of sisters in this situation, because when you take advantage of sisters in this situation, then obviously they would not want to enter into the same marriage again. But like he's mentioned there, these are all points that I've raised before, and we're going back into it again.
Somebody to take care of her.
So the thing is, wouldn't every sister, when it comes to Eid, want a husband around her? Wouldn't every sister, when at night, evening, when she gets home, maybe she's got a job or whatever, when she gets home, she'd like her husband to be there, maybe sitting down with a cup of tea, and how was your day today? Did you have a good day today? And she doesn't have that. Yeah, you have it. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب نفسه. So if we put it in the sisters, what's her name then? Wouldn't you like that? Wouldn't you like it when you come from work, your husband's there, maybe he's made a cup of tea, couple of biscuits, sitting down, how was your day today, and you did this, you did that, or whatever. A lot of sisters crave that. A lot of sisters crave that as well. But no, if we're gonna kind of want to keep the husband for ourselves, then obviously, and we keep mentioning that the good men are very few, and most of them are married. Obviously, sisters who are clever have already taken them, in their possession. Unfortunately, among those clever sisters, they don't want to let go of them. They don't want to let somebody else share them. But you do have some who are very good sisters who've actually, care for their other sisters and thought, okay, fine, I don't mind it. I don't mind if my husband takes another.
Because you want one husband for you, and you don't want nobody else. I want mine for me. That's it. So what you think the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, if you don't have the ability to give justice to the women, then do what? Marry women of your choice. Did he say? Huh? Ma taba lakum, didn't he? Mathna aw thulatha aw ruba. Did he say one?
Okay, this point, I keep mentioning this point as well. Allah didn't start by one. If one was the norm for those who are against polygyny, for those who, even those from outside, the non-Muslims who want to come, to Islam, and they their polygyny is their problem. Did Allah start with one? No, because polygyny was already was already happening. The laws just came just to regulate it and give women their rights. Okay, Allah started with 2, 3, and 4, which means that was the norm. But if you can't, Allah says, if you can't, that's the condition. Not the condition is not if your wife is sick or she cannot give birth or whatever. Then no, condition was if you can't do justice, then you take one. Otherwise, normally the normal position was 2, 3, and 4. And in a situation where we are at the moment, okay, like I keep mentioning, there are communities out there who are calling for polygyny. There are non-Muslim communities and Muslim communities as well. I gave the example earlier on, but there are non-Muslim communities. The Afro-Americans in African Americans in America, they're all starting to go back to polygyny again, their way, but a lot of them are following the Islamic way of 4 and be equal, do justice and everything. There are other nations who are craving for it, and yet our sisters are not thinking of the advantages that they're getting. They're only thinking of the negative parts of it. And again, a man, how much sex can a man have? If it was going to boil down to, he's marrying just because of sex, how much sex can a man have? You figure it out yourself.
That in that ayah, did he say one? No, he said matna, which means what? 2, aw thulatha, 3, aw ruba', 4. He didn't say one in that because he already ordered us to have one. But in regard to the justice, he said matna, aw thulatha, aw ruba'. So the injustice is what? One of the injustices and the imbalance is what is evident in front of you. That if every sister have a husband for herself, this will leave at least 6 sisters without the possibility of a man. If you want for your sister what you want for yourself, subhanallah, sisters, what you're talking about. Now, sisters, look, let me tell you this statistic. Only 2 out of every 10 men is going to take another wife anyway. Anyway.
That's another important thing. You see, a lot of people have this misconception when you talk of Islam. Oh, you're allowed 4 wives. It was as if every single Muslim all around the world has 4 wives. No, yeah. There's only a percentage of men. And when I keep mentioning that as well. Ta'addud is not for every man. You have to be the right person, your heart, your like, you know, your belief. There's a lot of people out there who don't practice the deen and, like, you know, they want to take more wives or whatever, and they oppress. Well, the sheikh is going to come to all this in a minute, yeah. So anyway, I just like, you know, to remind you that, like, you know, all this has been said in previous shows. I just like to remind you that you're watching O People of the Book, and we're broadcasting also on Consider This TV, our usual platform from before that I for a while I'd taken a break from. But please subscribe, like, and share. A lot of people need to know all this. A lot of people who are coming into these groups, and what people are doing, they're coming into Facebook groups. Okay, and they're asking for fiqh questions in Facebook groups. Okay, they're not listening to the ulama. They're not going to the ulama. They're not going to sit down with what's the name and pose their question. And in the Facebook group, you have a lot of people just giving their opinion. You know, just giving an opinion. A lot of them who are anti polygyny. A lot of them who don't know about polygyny. You know, so share this with people, share the link, and, like, you know, bring them in, and, like, you know, even after the show's finished, if they're not watching it live, because we are in a crisis. And I am telling you that there will be a time, because the hadith says it anyway, that there will be a time when one man will be looking after 50 women. That includes his wives, his daughters, maybe his mother, you know, grandmother. Maybe he'll be looking after all these people. Or it doesn't mean that he's going to have 50 wives, no, but 50 women will be under his supervision. Okay, so if women keep putting barriers to this, then, like, you know, what's going to happen? Obviously, the hadith is clear that and we're in this time now. We're in this period of time where women are like, you know, struggling and thinking that they can do it all by themselves, but they're being told that they can do it all by themselves. They're being told that they don't need a man, you know, and they're ending up struggling. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go through this now.
Even though the choice is there, only 2 out of 10 is going to take another wife anyway. Only 1 out of 20 is going to take a 3rd wife. Maybe 1 out of 30.
You have to be able to make justice with them to be able to take 2 or 3 or 4. Okay, that's one thing. Secondly, you need to be able to take another house, another 1, 2, 3 houses. So you need to have that money, that extra money. Not just any man can take 4 wives. If you find that you have that money, then yeah, you go for it. But this is why not every man is going to be able to do it. So the sheikh is explaining, yeah, how not every man can, and this is why most men prefer to take 1, because of the situation that we are today. You know, the financial situation that we are today. Those who can do it, they do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, no problem. But not every man can do that. And
maybe only 1 out of 200 is going to take a fourth wife. How many brothers you know got 4 wives? That he can buy 4 refrigerators and pay 4 phone bills and pay, you know what I mean, 4 light bills and 4 phone bills and 4 rents. And also, he got to deal with 4 different sisters. SubhanAllah. No, it's very unlikely this will happen. Very unlikely. And how many of you know this?
It's very unlikely it will happen, but the ruling is there. This is what we have to understand. The ruling is there. The Quran came from the time of creation. Yeah, the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already written the Quran, which is in the Lawh Mahfuz, until the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Yeah, so it relates to anything and everything from the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was revealed it until the end of Akhir al-Zaman. Then, like, you know, it's applicable. Yeah. So anyway,
It's got 3.
yeah. So not every man will be able to apply that, but the ruling is there in the Quran. Those who can apply it properly. Those who can't apply it, abstain.
Unlikely. But sisters, think. If you are patient and you tell him, brother, listen, I don't like it. I'll be honest with you. I'm jealous. I don't want you to do that. But this is your responsibility in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will ask you about your responsibility. If you think you must do it, of course I don't like it, but I will bear with it, inshallah. Why? Because of my sister. Especially your husband, maybe he will marry some sister, she has children already. What will those children do? What? She have children. Who will guide them? Who will take care of them? Your husband, he's working, he has knowledge, he's healthy. And if you are intelligent, really, sisters, if you're really intelligent, sometimes you don't want to be bothered with your husband. Sometimes you need help with those children. If you are intelligent and you allow your mind and your practicality to rise above your jealousy, you may see that there's some benefit, in social benefit, in your having a co-wife. Because you can do things.
One thing I'd like to mention, a lot of sisters will turn around and say, why my husband? Why you? You know, all these men that are around. No, there isn't all these men. This is the thing. A lot of sisters, when they think all these men, why my husband? Because your husband is a good man. He's proved it to you. He's proved it to mine. He can do it for another sister. If you have found him good, if you have found him a good man, he pays your bills, he treats you well, he looks after his children, you know, pays all his expenses at the end of the month. He's kind to you, he feeds you, he does everything that he has to do. That means he's a good man. Yeah. So now, why deprive somebody else from a good man?
Together.
So rather than saying, like, you know, why my husband, you should say, yes, my husband. Let my husband be one of them. And remember the reward that he will be getting. Like the Sheikh just mentioned now, the children, if the sister has children, the children, you're treating them as your own. If you do take that responsibility. Or that sister that was going to be in poverty, you took her out of poverty. You took her out of poverty. We should have done something that she shouldn't. Like I told you earlier on, I had an argument with a sister who is asking men to pay her bills. Like, you know, she's asking men to pay her bills. Now the thing is that she's not a Muslim. She wanted to come to Islam, but, like, you know, what would the sister end up doing in return for this man? You know, she doesn't have money, and asking men to pay her bills. So wouldn't you want your husband to save that sister from doing something bad, from doing something wrong, and take her, look after her, put a roof over her head, pay her rent, pay her bills, and that's it? In return, that sex that he's getting is just a bonus. It's just a bonus that he's getting for what he's doing. Yeah? That's not the main thing. That's not the main. You know, the man is not macho man kind of thing. Like, you know. Anyway.
Sometimes she can watch your children. Sometimes you can watch her children. Sometimes you ain't got to bother cooking, cleaning for your husband or nothing. You have to be bothered with him. Sometimes you get tired of him. It's good for you. You have time.
A lot of sisters have mentioned that they don't want the husband breathing over the next 24 hours, 7 days a week. Well, if you're in the ta'addud zawaj, well, you won't need to. Your husband will be away, instead of him going out with friends, spending money, like, going out with friends, playing pool or stuff like that. He's going to look after another sister, fulfilling her needs, just the same way that he fulfills your needs, he's going to fulfill her needs as
Time
well.
for yourself. There are some sisters who have a co-wife, and it is a good relationship. You should talk to some of those sisters, not to the ones who is greedy and jealous.
I think I've mentioned that before. There's a lot of sisters who go and speak to the wives that, or speak to the sisters that have had problems in ta'addud, and they've had problems in polygyny, and they go and speak to them. No, don't speak to them. These are the ones who are going to cause fitna and tell you to get out of there. Just because they might have, or their friend might have had something or whatever, then that means they're going to put you off it completely,
And even they don't appreciate the one husband. They don't appreciate the fact that they are the only.
Yes, and the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that Nar Jahannam will be full of women because of the fact that they were ungrateful. Yeah? With one husband, they were ungrateful. Now, can you imagine, if that husband took another wife, and it's a.
And I'll give you another statistic, sisters. Do you know most of the marriage counseling, most of the money?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier on. Listen to him carefully and take note if you need to.
Marriage problems is not in the house where there is two wives. Do you know where it is? Most of the problems and the marriage counseling comes from where there's only one wife. This is a statistic. So, sisters, about the ta'addud to zawjat, you should not, I'm not telling you to be happy. Don't dance, and don't expect the sister to dance and the whole party because you take another wife. Alhamdulillah, brother, mashallah, let's invite everybody. Don't expect that from the sister. But sisters, be patient about this matter and don't speak against the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't speak against the wisdom of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't undermine the welfare of the community. And don't be selfish, and don't be greedy, and don't be unwise. Sisters, be careful about this matter. Speak to your husband as strong as you need to speak to him. Beg with him, plead with him. Please don't do it. I don't like it. But if he does, bear with it. Be patient. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you better. After all, al-akhirah khayrun wa abqa, isn't it? The akhirah is better for you than what is present. Sister says, what is your definition or idea of a Muslim man who...
All right, we'll go through the questions and answers, and we'll see what time we have, and then we will go through through the book. But this is very interesting, and there's a lot of you out there who are in these groups to learn or whatever. You can learn a lot from this. And like I said, please share this the link and bring other people in, please. I want to increase that you can see Miskeen, look my subscribers. I don't do it for subscribers, but I only have 435 subscribers. I'm devoting my time for my brothers and sisters, at least be appreciative and increase the subscribers. Bring your friends and those who want to learn about polygyny. Bring them in and let them subscribe. At least more people will learn about it, and you will get the rewards as well. Let's go through to the questions and answers.
Would be capable to marry more than one wife. First of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not place in the heart of any man, in the chest of any man, two hearts. So when Allah says be fair, he doesn't mean split the heart in half. The man can be fair in regards to what? His time, his money, his time, and his money. This is what he can be fair in. As for his desire, as for his love or his feeling, there's no way he can be exactly fair. And Allah, he said, you can never be fair as between women, even if it is your ardent desire. This.
Okay, the Prophet ﷺ made dua to Allah, Ya Allah, please forgive me for what I cannot control. Yeah, what I can control in ta'addud, in polygyny, what he could control his wives. He was just to them. He gave them, like, their fair share, what they needed. But he had this little inkling in his heart, more for Aisha radiallahu anha, and it wasn't his fault. That was the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created him. That's why he made that dua to Allah, that please forgive him, because it's not in his control. What is in our hearts, we cannot control that. You might look at somebody and love that person very, very much, and you might look at somebody else and detest them. That's coming from your heart. You might love somebody today, and the next day you hate them. That's coming from your heart. You cannot control that.
That's what Allah said. What does it mean? The women will never let you be fair in regard to that. They will always say, you like her better than me. If you go out and you buy your wives 2 roses, 2 flowers, 2 dozen roses, you give her the red roses, and you give the other one the red roses. You know what one of them will say? Why you give her the same thing you give me? So you see, you cannot satisfy them exactly from the heart. But what you can do is you can be fair in regards to your money and your time. So fair in regards to the money and time means what? Does it mean to give each one of them half exactly? No. If one sister, she has 3 children, and the other one, she has 1 child, do you give to them exactly the same? No, you don't. You give.
I think I mentioned that as well. Like, or in the other session that I did, the other book that I did, that when you when you give them the time and the what you spend on them, it's not that you have to give them equal. It's equitable, but not equal. One of them might have 10 shoes. She doesn't need another pair of shoes. You're not going to take her shoes and then give her again. No, give her something of the same value. Give us something of the same value, but something different. Like he mentions now, you might get married to your first wife. You've got 3 or 4 children with them. These children, they will need more expenses. You get married to another sister. She's got only 1 child. Now, are you going to spend the same on that woman that you're going to spend on your whole family? No, the shopping would be different. The amount of shopping would be different. The expenses would be different. The college fees would be different. So it's you're doing justice to what is required. Not that you're doing injustice, so you have to give them exactly that sister staying in a big house because there's a big family. The other sister staying in a small house. You're not going to have to get a big house to put that sister in where the rooms are not being used, kind of thing. You see, so this is what the justice is.
Give it to them according to ratio. Secondly, if one sister, like Sauda, radiallahu anha, she was an old woman married to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? What did she do? Out of her love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and her loving for her sister, what she loved for herself, what did she do? She gave to Aisha radiallahu anha her days. She said, Ya Rasulullah, Aisha is a young woman and she requires more time than me. So, O Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, please, I give to her one of my days. Subhanallah. This is showing what wisdom? That from woman to woman, from situation to situation, there's a different application. But who is the judge of that? The woman herself? No, it's the man. He is qawamun. On him is the responsibility of that judgment. Now, if he's unfair, the Prophet ﷺ said what? The man who is unfair between his wives, what did the Prophet ﷺ say? He would come on Yawm al-Qiyamah with what? One side hanging down. So when he goes over the Sirat, if he have one side hanging down, what will happen? He will fall off the bridge. He will be unbalanced. because he was unfair. He was unbalanced in this life. He will be unbalanced in the hereafter. But whose job is it to be Qawam, the man? Not for the woman to tell him, you're not being fair, you're not being just, or so and so, so and so. No, she can say to him, brother, please be careful about the time. Brother, be careful about the rights. Brother, it's not fair for you to come in the house at 11 o'clock at night. This is my night. So look to the fiqh, sisters, and know your rights, but also at the same token, be fair. No Muslim government can set a standard for polygamy, if this is part of the question. There is no barometer to say whether a brother has the right to take another wife. This is a choice he can make. You have the imam, you have his family, and you have his own determination. No one can say to him, you don't make enough money. No one can say to him, your occupation doesn't.
That's another good point there again. Allah is the one who's Razak. A lot of times we think, oh, we don't make enough money, we cannot take another wife or whatever. Yes, you need them to be secure, but Allah, when Allah creates anybody, He creates them with their rizq. Sorry, when He's sending that wife to you, she's already got her rizq. And only what she can eat, that's all she's going to eat. Well, only what she can wear, that's all that she's going to wear. Not because you're bringing in another wife. That means like, you know, you will have to fill up the fridges, like, you know, nobody's going to eat it, kind of thing. You know, so even though the brother might not earn that much more, but Allah is Razak. So if you tawakkul ala Allah and go ahead and do it.
Doesn't provide you. Nobody can say to him, your condition doesn't warrant it. And the sister cannot say to him, you do not have enough money, you don't have enough time, you don't have enough so-and-so for me, how can you take another wife? That's not for her to say. This is a judgment Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He gave to the man himself, but the man should take into consideration his situation. And maybe a question will come, should the man consult his wife before he takes another wife? Yes, that's mustahaba for him to do. But is it wajib? No.
Okay, we keep discussing that many times. I see it come up in Facebook groups and everything, that the man needs permission. A lot of the sisters who are not aware of it, the Sheikh made it clear he should tell her, out of his kindness, out of his love for her, he should tell her, but he's not obliged to. He's not obliged to tell her, especially if he knows that she's not gonna be happy about it. Yeah, you know, she's your wife. Okay, you make the decision. You tell her, and he's not taking her permission. You tell her, I'm making nikah to such and such sister or whatever. But khalas, you know. You don't need to please, can I take can I make nikah to such a, no, that's not part of the equation. And both the man and the woman have to know that. Okay, permission is already granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should tell her, but you don't have to tell her. It's not fard on you. It's not wajib on you.
Is it binding? No, absolutely not. He doesn't have to ask her permission, nor does he have to tell her. He will do it. But should he? Yes. He should. He should consult her, because it's a matter of respecting her feelings. If he's wise, he will do so. But there's nothing to say he must. Sister says, does your husband have to ask your permission? Oh, subhanAllah, look at that. Wallahi, sister, I didn't know this was what I was holding in my hand. I answered that question already. Does your husband have to ask your permission if he wants to marry the second or the third? No, he doesn't, but he should. Because you are part of him. You are part of him. He should consult you. How he spends the money, how he spends his time, what decisions he's going to make in his life. He should talk to you about it. But sister, if you are threatening him all the time, do it.
This is what most sisters do. They already threaten their husbands, like, you know, if you take another wife, I will leave you, I will do this. But obviously then the husband is not going to tell you, is he? Yeah. If he knows that you're going to make a problem, he's not going to tell you. So obviously, like you've already laid the rules as if you are the husband, not him. You've already laid down the rules. I'm going to ask for divorce. I'm going to take the kids and go and go. What do you expect the husband to do? This is why you find so many men today are going into secret marriages, because they know what their wives would do. They know that their wives will make a problem with it. Exactly what the Sheikh is saying. You're laying down the laws already, even if before he does it. I heard you speaking about it. I heard you talking to your friends about it. Don't you dare. So, whoa, what's the guy going to do? What do you expect him to do?
I will take you to the court. I will blah, 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 blah. And then you want him to come and talk to you about it? Somebody said, is it true that if a husband wants to take a second wife, he doesn't have to inform his first wife? If this is true, isn't this a form of deception? No, this is not a form of deception. I said, and I just reiterate myself again, it is good, mustahaba, recommended for the man to discuss this matter. Not only the issue of a second wife, but how he spends his money, how he spends his time, what his major decisions are going to be. He wants to go, he wants to travel to Hajj. He wants to go to a class. Anything he should do, he should make istikhara. He should talk to his wife about it. But doesn't mean that it's wajib on him. Doesn't mean it's fard on him. Doesn't mean he has to. And sister, if you make yourself open-minded towards what Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the chances are your husband will discuss everything with you. But sister, as I mentioned, if you are talking very bad and cursing and threatening and rebelling, do you think that your husband will announce to you what he will do so you can set a trap for him? No. So sister, think about this. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and have also husn al-dhan. Think the best thing. Don't think the worst thing. Don't preoccupy yourself about what you think your husband will do.
I think we went through that when we went through the issue of jealousy and everything. Don't occupy your mind with these things. Try to get it out of your mind, and use husn al-dhan. Husn al-dhan, because you don't know the reason why that happened. Not all marriages happen because of lust. It could be that the sister, your brother, your husband had known this sister. This sister was going through a hard time, and like I said to you, a woman should not ask a man to help her in finances or whatever. And if a sister who's not married to your husband keeps bugging him, can you help me to pay my bills? Then obviously the only solution that he should do is marry her. But he might have had to, It's not an issue of lust or whatever. And like I keep saying, how much sex can a man have? No, it's not there. Although man does have lust. Allah created us with lust. Think about it yourself. Just think about it reasonably yourself.
This is his right. This is his decision. You take care of your rights and you take care of your decision. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the best, inshallah. Sheikh, you said a co-wife may be beneficial. Should the woman then choose or help choose a second wife? This is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful. If a sister can say to her husband, brother, look, Habibi, I don't want you to marry again. I don't really like it. But if I think you will, or you think you must, or because of the condition of other sisters, please let me help you. Let me make sure that it's a sister that I can get along with. I know what you like and I know what you dislike. Let me please help you. So before you select somebody, please let me help you, please. If a brother has a sister like that, he's really foolish if he does not allow the sister to help him in this matter. May Allah bless the sister, inshallah, who thinks that way. So sisters, inshallah, I just want to remind you, take the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Ummahat al-Mu'mineen, as your examples, inshallah. And sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not give you the best of husbands, but sometimes He did not give the husbands the best of wives. Be careful, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and ask Allah for all of your needs, inshallah. Look to your behavior, look to your behavior, look to your behavior. And inshallah, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me for anything I may have said excessive, anything I may have said that was my own opinion, or anything I may have said that was wrong. And if I said something and I had dalil for it, you take it. If I said something which I had no proof for, and you have evidence of it, throw it away. Don't worry about it. And don't be angry with your brother Khalid if he said something to the best of his intention. I didn't mean to say anything wrong to anybody, inshallah.
Okay, so brothers and sisters, I hope you benefited from that. You know, as usual, my aim is to help my brothers and sisters get some, knowledge from that, and we've gone through all the way to the 124 time period. So I don't know whether we should go through the dealing with jealousy or we should end it here, because there's only 5-10 minutes left. But like I said, yeah, there's a must out there. There's a crisis out there, yeah, and we need to know how to handle this crisis. Yeah, I've been bringing in so many resources, and I will be bringing in more and more resources. And I hope that those of you who are watching, please share it with others, share it with other brothers and sisters who are embarking on this journey, who want to embark on this journey, or who detest it and whatever. Maybe I can help to clear some doubts in their mind. Yeah. So we were gonna be dealing with jealousy today, but I think like that lecture from Sheikh Khalid Yassin itself was 22 minutes, and me giving some explanations and everything, so that made it a little bit longer. But anyway, so I think we will end here. Like I said, I don't like, although this is educational, we can't do shorts with educational. So I think it's better if I end it here, yeah. And then next week maybe we will start with inshallah, we will start with dealing with jealousy. I will still be looking for more resources to share with you. But in the meantime, if I have said something wrong, and I have in my trying to help, if I have hurt anybody, please forgive me. One. Secondly, if I've said something that is that is wrong, then that is from me, and anything good that you got from there is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. So we'll end here, and we'll get back to it next week, where we'll be starting afresh on page. 1 second. Let me. Yeah, on page 111, dealing with jealousy. So we don't have time to do it now. It's a 126 mark. So all I'll have to say is subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika bi izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and I'll see you next week inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.